in the approval of people word of God.
That would be great.
Hey, everybody, we'll get started in just a minute.
Hey.
Somebody on Zoom.
There's two people. There's one less.
Oh, there he is. Jim was one of the people that was asking
You're kicking
questions.
It's like at a weird height,
That look
right? I'm not
right
I'm not tall, but I'm not sure. So
We'll just.
All right. I think that's about all the stuff. Apologize for running a little bit late. The meeting before was long and I was in that too, so I couldn't get all this stuff started without But I don't like to be rude to anybody, so we need to get going. Hello, Aubrey. We're here, we're laughing, we're going to have fun. I'll be sharing my screen. There are a lot of different directions it's going to go or can go, so I'm going to try and do my best to make sure that I cover what you guys want to know. Because if you're going to do this process, it will manually take you more than an hour to complete. It's going to manually take you more than an hour to complete. I cannot cover every detail in an hour. It's just fact. So I want to make sure we get to the things that are important to you. So I'm going to go ahead and write a few of those down so I make sure I get them. And we'll start with left to right. Toddy, is there anything that is critical to you to understand in this class?
I'm open, but I've done it a few times.
Back row, Anna.
I need to figure out how to mail merge.
Mail merge, all right. That's what I like to hear. Mail merge,
I don't even know what that means.
excellent.
I don't, but I know I need to do it.
It's part of the
You're right.
process, absolutely.
What she said.
Jenna A says mail merge,
Yes.
cool. Sherry?
I would like to take some tidbits of what, if anyone's been successful in it, what little things they did to kind of differentiate. And then I want to put it all together in a circle of not just mailing the letter, but what comes next with the follow-up. I mean, I know there's no golden ticket other than to do the calls,
I got a
but
golden ticket. No, come on, man, let's sing the song. I got a golden ticket. Before everybody's, well, someone else, time. Aubrey, is there anything, or Lori, is there anything you guys want to make sure you get out of this today?
Nothing specific, just
I'm
how
just
to
here
do
for
it.
differentiation as well.
Let
So
other people-
just kind of seeing what works best for people and things like that.
Excellent, so that's kind of, so we got two parts to it, and that's good, as long as everybody's on the same page. I was really worried that we might have 34 topics we needed to cover. So, why do we do golden letter? Page 41, MREA, right? 41, MREA. First thing, and this is what Gary Keller, right from the horse's mouth, he says, if you do not have enough leads to meet your income goals, there is simply no other problem. That's it. That's the focus. And a golden letter is a great way to get leads. And it's another way of finding some things. Now, what it is and what it isn't, it is not a silver bullet. I have jokingly referred to it and to some agents as passive-aggressive door knocking. At the end of the day, that's kind of what it is. Passive-aggressive door knocking, passive-aggressive cold calling. I don't have to deal with rejection. I'm making cold calls. I am doing door knocking, but I don't have to deal with the rejection. And it is significantly less time consuming. So that's a huge pro, right? I mean, how long does it take to call everybody? How long does it take to walk around the neighborhood? If I send 300 letters out, that's a lot faster, even though it could take more than an hour here, doing that same thing on the street. So pros and cons, right? And ultimately, and I think to your question, Sherry, in the long run, it is follow-up that makes the difference. And there's a lot of different ways to do golden letters that can help you be successful. And there are even different target areas. So the first thing I want to talk about is what is the golden letter? Let's see.
that's the most basic one I've ever seen. I love it.
That's it.
Sorry, that was my reaction.
No, that is literally,
Ask the
if you go and look it up, that's the golden letter. Nothing more to it. Now, there's a lot of discussion, and one of the things, what makes it successful, what doesn't make it successful, what am I trying to achieve, what am I not trying to achieve? There are different ways that you might tailor this, but the author that I am thinking of, Keller Williams down in Texas, not Gary, but one of the other guys, and his name eludes me now, but it starts with the last name, starts with an A. He's one of the initiators of this process. Says, nope, simpler the better. I know that I've been in contact with Kelly, and Kelly and I have talked about this, and she uses this to some extent, to some success, and has submitted a golden letter to her coach. And the coach took her golden letter, with all these neat words, and crossed out everything that wasn't this. And said, either they're gonna or they're not. That's the end of the thing. And this is not you trying to make a friend. If you believe this is you trying to make a friend, there are other ways to do that more effectively. This is literally calling to make somebody do something right now, and that thing is called you. That's all it is. It is literally designed to create a contact, which by its very nature is almost an instant lead. That's all it is. So what makes it successful? One of the first things to do is keep it simple and understand its purpose. If you are trying to achieve something other than a contact who is a pretty close to an immediate lead, there are other better ways to do this. So when we talk about lead generation, this is a great idea because that's all it's really designed to do, right? It's not really designed to do a million other things. And so then we follow the next question, right? The immediate follow-up question is, what if they call me? What if that person actually gets a letter and says, hello, yes, I would like to do that thing that you mentioned. You said, would you consider, yes, I would consider selling my home if the price was right. Right, that's a possible answer. Anybody done one of these yet? Have you done one, Nana? No. You know what else they answer when they call?
No.
You have an idea what they call. When somebody calls you, what do they say? Do you know? All right,
What's
so they
it
say,
gonna cost me?
what's it gonna cost me, right? And do you really have a client who wants to buy my house? Right, that's a super common one. Do you really have a client who wants to buy my house? No, I don't have a client who wants to buy your house. I have thousands of people who want to buy your house right now. If I put your house on sale on Friday, I promise you there'll be 40 people in there who want to buy your house by the end of the weekend. That's just a fact. But that's not why you're calling me, right? And that's not what you're going to say to them. But you need to keep that in mind, that would you consider selling your home, right? So the first thing you have to have is an idea in your mind of what you're going to say when that phone call comes in, right? That's the letter. Call in. Great. Your goal for this call, for the response to this call, is the same thing it was to begin with, is to move this person up the ladder of contacts, right? So now I have a contact, I want them to be a lead. You know, I do have a number of clients, both myself as I represent our brokerage, there are a number of clients who might be interested in your home. I have a couple questions I'd want to ask to make sure it's the right for the client I'm thinking of, right? So what are those questions you might ask? What's a question you might ask somebody who said, who called you on this?
Can you tell me a little bit about your house?
Sure, what have you done to update it, right? Because I've got the MLS. Well, you said they were interested in my house. Absolutely. I have a picture of it on MLS. They can see it from the outside. Weirdly, none of us have X-ray vision.
Right.
So we don't know what it's like on the inside. What sort of updates have you done? What's new about your house since the last time it was listed? Right, so right off the bat, you're kind of having this conversation because your goal with this conversation is an appointment. All this letter is trying to do is get you an appointment in their house. So your goal is to show them all the reasons in this call why you might need to see their house to make sure it's the right one for the potential client in case. So what updates have you done? Tell me about, what changes you've made. What else might I ask a person who's thinking about that kind of thing?
What their timeline is?
What timeline they would have to move? Why
Yeah.
are they
want
interested
to?
even in moving? I mean, you do understand if you sell your house, you've got to leave,
Yeah.
right? What timelines? You start asking those standard questions that we have, that we go, because the goal is then, now, with that in mind, I mean, if you are interested in thinking about selling your house, can we set up a time? And you want to get as close and as quickly to asking about setting up the time as you can, right? Because that's the only purpose of this call. I'm going to trust you enough to walk to their house and set up an appointment, get inside and look at it, right? Now, I want to bring out something I think is really important at this moment. You are sending this letter, I'm going to room everyone on this call You don't know these people. You don't know anything about this person. You don't know what's in their house. It's not like you're going to your friend's house. You are going to somebody you don't know, right? So you need to think about what sorts of things are you gonna do? Can I bring my assistant along with? You know what I mean? If that's an option, and then who's your assistant, right? I don't care, your best friend, doesn't matter. Just bring somebody along with you because you don't know this person. Are there things you can put up? You know what? We'll set up, I'll plan to be out there on Thursday at 5:30. If you wouldn't mind filling out this paperwork in between, just a couple quick things and make it super simple. Like, what color is that? What colors are the rooms or houses or things like that. The idea is to make sure that they just fill, so there's some sort of hurdle to getting them, for them not coming to your house, right? Because the goal is just, you don't know. And then, for the love of God, look them up. Look them up before you go. Because you don't want to find out when you get there that they're on the sex register offender. They're the registered sex offender. You want to know that before you go. If you decide to go, that's a choice you can make. But you want to know before you go. And you don't know that when you're just sending letters to a neighborhood, if you're doing it with no other filters in place, right? So make sure we cover that before you get out there. But your goal is to get to that house. Once you're in the house, hope you know what to do. You're real estate agents, right? We can kind of pin that one down. Y'all know what to do at that point. Hopefully you bring a listing packet with you. Hopefully you can talk about what that is. But remember, they're still in the wishy-washy process. You're gonna have to sell yourself, and to Anna's point, you're gonna have to find out more what is the future plan, and have that discussion, as much as this. Some other places that they might be asking you is, well, if the price is right? Well, price is gonna be, again, largely determined on the condition of the house. I know what they might be willing to offer, but I don't know what condition your home is in. I don't know about your updates. Is the furnace still the same one you had back then? Is the water heated? The windows, all the questions that go in there. They're still gonna know that before I get there, okay? Can you dress up the letter? Yes. Should you dress up the letter? If you wanna spend 20 minutes making extra words on there to have absolutely no impact on the result, go right ahead, but it's your 20 minutes. This is not gonna make a difference in this particular case. Go.
What about a QR code?
There are people who are going to say to you, you should do that because it will personalize the letter and be really cool. And there are other people who are gonna say over here, and they're gonna go, I want this to look as simple and as effective as it could possibly be. And the idea of adding a computer-generated code to this makes it feel impersonal. I don't know what could be more impersonal, but on the other side, there are people who will tell you that. At the end of the day, this is your tool. My honest appraisal is that most folks suggest just this. Make them pick up the phone and call you. Get a QR code work? Sure. 20 years from now, it better have a QR code.
But it gives them that option to not call you, I get it.
And it almost adds another hurdle. It's weird, because I actually would suggest you put a QR code on everything you do, more or less. But it adds another hurdle to this one, just picking up the phone and making the call to get it done. All right, so then the next thing, right? So where am I going to do this to? Once you've decided on the letter, where am I gonna go? How am I gonna define that space? I'm gonna leave certain elements of that up to you, but basically you're gonna use Remind, and we'll go in there really quick because I don't wanna spend a lot of time on this particular one. But you go into Remind, do a search.
You can print your labels off there too.
Is that
She could print her labels off there instead of having to do a mail merge.
could, but then your letter is,
Oh, I see. Oh,
yeah, you're right, you absolutely could. You can change the cell score.
can you put them into a CVS from here though?
Yes,
And then do it, or CSV, I don't know.
yes, that is the plan from
See, I'm going to
here.
CVS. There you go.
Oh, cats, look at that, there's nothing for sale around there. slow. No one living in Gilbert Trail at all.
Oh, are you clicked on cell score, or is that just
Yeah.
always high? Okay.
Cell score and zip code.
That's because Millersburg Boulevard is super far out.
Now it's. Now there's a couple different ways you can do it. If you use a cell score, that's just gonna limit the scope of who you're getting in this list. If on the other side, you get rid of the cell score, and we're gonna get rid of zip codes, here, this one, here we get rid of the cell score. I now have 451 houses that are circled by that. That's more than I wanna do. Right? I don't know about you, but that's more than I wanna do. So I'm gonna cut it down some more, and now I'm down to about 125. Depending on how you want to do that, you can make this a little bit smaller, or change some of the cell scores, or change some of this. But, again, I don't want to spend a whole lot of time refining it. The idea that you find your search area that you want to do. So a great example of this might be the neighborhood around your house, right? I mean, what you would normally door knock. What I'm going to do is create a farm. In the long run, I want to make this useful and longer term. Because the amount of work I'm gonna put into generating this and creating these contacts and doing this stuff, I kind of want to keep hitting this area regularly, but I don't know everybody's address, and I certainly don't know everybody's name if I want to do 350 houses around my home, right? So this is the easiest way to get that list. Once I've got that list, I select all. This is the 431. End up with a little thing like this that has a list of all of them once you created it. And you can export it, and that'll export your list. Now I've already set up my defaults. You name your file. In this case, we'll name it holy cats, I swear to man, that man can type. All right, so that's how it creates it. It takes it a while for it to do that. Again, this is one of those parts that's boring and does that, but that's how you get that list. In order to be effective, you want to define that list. There's another way you can define that list, and I think there's a couple different ways. Like in this case, we're talking about creating a longer-term farm area around my house. But the other time I might use the golden letter, and I think it's super effective, is if I have a buyer. And that buyer is looking for a house in Coon Rapids, and they want 3 bedrooms. Just go in here, Coon Rapids, 3 bedrooms, price range, bam, I want all of the houses. I'm gonna send one to everyone. And the cool thing about that is, and they go, hey, you really have a buyer? Yes, I do. That is the whole point of this letter, my friend, and I want to find out if this is the right house or not, right? But that can add some credibility to you as well when you're doing this. If you do it that way the first time, you're going to feel a lot better about doing it the second time once you're kind of over that hoop, because really, that's not a hurdle. It's a hurdle in your mind more than it is in theirs, especially if you're able to talk your way to or answer that question more directly.
Can I say one thing?
Yes.
We did a golden letter to the Spirit of Branchin neighborhood because Kelly actually had a client who didn't have super specific needs in what they wanted. They ideally wanted a master on the main level, but we sent it to all of Spirit of Branchin so that when they called, when they said, do you have a potential buyer? Then Kelly would say, okay, well, what does your house look like? This is what our client's looking for, but your house could still be a potential fit. And most of them were not a fit, but she talked to a lot of people and got into people's homes by saying, yeah, we do have a client, and just to see if it would be a potential fit, let me come and see. So that's kind of,
Again, it's not appointments, it's
Yeah.
about creating the opportunity for a listing. Oh, look, there we are. And it is finally there, down.
Has anyone ever done a postcard instead of a letter? I mean, or is it truly like just the matter of opening, like, I mean, would it really make a difference?
I send postcards to my farm, like in my neighborhood, like I have them set up on Sensations. And I started out with like sending them all like a letter, like a personal letter. And then I put them on Sensations. And I had one of my neighbors call me and I'm gonna list their house, but it was only one person. And they get a postcard from me every month.
Yeah.
So, I mean, is it gonna be worth the money? I don't know, but they called me.
We do, one of the reasons I think that the, like, envelope is important is because I think the person who created it says that you should handwrite the addresses.
Right.
To
With no
make
return
it-
address.
Yeah,
Make it look like an invitation or something that
Right.
opened.
So, once you have this, all right, now I'm gonna say this for the crowd, everybody out there, this is you're about to enter the difficult part from a process standpoint. And when I say difficult, there's about 3 forks in this road. The first fork is, what do I use as my spreadsheet? Google Sheets is free and not as effective at this process as Microsoft Excel. It's a fact. If I like it, that's fine. It's not a huge problem. It will still do this. There are just other steps to using Google Sheets. And when we're done today, I have a folder with a video of how to do it in Google Sheets and a video of how to do it in Microsoft Excel. A fantastic young lady like Tati here helping me out with the Excel, and a fantastic young lady like Dana helping me out with Google Sheets. Now, the biggest drawback to Google Sheets when you get to the end is, unless you're printing from a Mac, and again, 3 forks in the road, you can only print about 15 things at a time. Now, that might be advantageous to you, but because Google Sheets doesn't do a true mail merge, it creates however many documents you have, and it creates that many documents. Where a mail merge simply creates a one huge file with very many pages. And as a result of the way that system works, if you want to create, in this case, or we say 289 different lines, 289 lines is 289 documents. And without a Mac, you have to select 15, I think 15 is the limit of documents you can just drag, print, and group.
on Google Sheets, right?
On Google, well, it's not Google Sheets that's the problem in this case, it's the fact that you have 289 separate documents if you did this process in Google Sheets. 3 forks in the road. If you did it in Google Sheets and you have a Mac, you can select them all and drag them and literally drop them in the printer. If you have a printer shortcut on your desktop, so you can take them and drop them, bam. But that's the third fork. So what do I recommend if you're doing this and you have access to Excel? Excel is the simplest and easiest way to make this happen. It literally has a mail merge option that does it within there. If you're in Google Sheets, and you're going to want to watch Dana's video, but within Google Sheets, you will have to download an add-on to Google Sheets that will allow you to complete this process. Talks about it, it's super easy, it's not a hard process, but in interest of keeping everybody on page and on time, I'm not going to download that process on that thing because of the difficulty, just the time standpoint. I want to cover everything for everybody that we can. But like I said, that video is great. I've watched it several times already and used it to help people with it. And if you do see Dana Marble, say thank you to her, because she did a great job doing that and setting that up. Within Excel, however, our next step would be to start creating our letter and our merge fields. But I want to pause and see if we have any questions from the Zoom crew out there.
Hey, actually, we're just getting a white screen. I can see in the video that you guys are looking at a spreadsheet, but our screen is just white. The screen sharing is, just so you know.
I see just white too.
Any better?
Yep, there we go.
Yep.
Now we can see it.
Thank you.
Cool. Yeah, it's super ugly too, but, yeah, but I'm glad that you said that. Anything else? Any other questions out there?
I have a question.
Shoot.
So when I open up my CSV in Excel, at the top it says possible data loss. It says some features might be lost if you save this workbook in the comma delimited CSV format. To preserve these features, save it in Excel file format. Is that important? Does that matter?
What that
Like
means.
if I don't do that, am I gonna lose something important?
No.
I can just ignore it.
CSV is the most basic form of a spreadsheet. And Microsoft Excel will add additional features and formatting and cool things that can't be translated into CSV. So it's just warning you that if you've done extra cool stuff like made certain fonts different colors or highlighted certain boxes, CSV isn't gonna remember that. It's just gonna remember the data.
Lit.
All right, so from there,
I think it's home. Yeah. There, mail merge and right there. Oh,
mine is different.
yeah, yours is different. Try
Go to
insert maybe. I don't know. It's there someplace.
when in doubt, just go to. Oh, that's silly. Now they're probably blocked out again.
Is there not a mailings tab? There's not a mailings tab at the top of Excel? File one, insert page.
Why in the world, man, how do that? This computer is literally the silliest thing. No, it's not mail tab.
Oh, I know why. You have to start it from the Word.
Oh.
So wherever your golden letter template is.
So where should we go to get the template?
You can just type it yourself, or, I mean, I'd be happy to email you ours. But like the original, ours is typed exactly like the original, but to get the actual original, I don't know where that is.
Yeah, it's not that hard to type up. So, wow, that was a journey.
You got there.
And again, one of the reasons why it takes a long time. But within Word, you have the mailings opportunity. And I have to clear out all that stuff though, don't I? Say your name and stuff, or can I do that as I go?
Yeah, you can do it as you go.
So start mail merge, so letter.
Yep, and then click select recipients right next to it. Yep, use an existing list. And then wherever your list is.
I don't know if they can see everything that I'm doing here, probably not. Oh, it's, yeah, it's.
And just click OK. Yeah. And then I would do like, anchoring line. Okay, so now see where it says insert merge field? Yep. And then you can pick which one, but you're gonna wanna highlight what you want first.
And this would be owner first name. Owner last name.
You're gonna want a space.
That's what space. Won't let me insert a space.
Delete that, yeah. It's kind of a tedious thing, but once it's all there, it's worth it.
Space. And then you can edit your addresses. But, so that will change it now, so it says, dear Charles Smith and Linda Smith, would you consider your home at, soliciting your home at their house number and the street? And Word is going to take care of doing that when we go to finish and merge. So when we go to finish and merge,
And if you wanted
oh,
to.
we match the fields first.
Nope, it should be fine. But if you click preview results to the left of, with the magnifying glass, yep, right there. Then you can make sure that it's entered the way you want it to be entered. Before you click finish, because once you click finish, it'll do all, like, say you have 200 people, it'll just create all 200 letters. And then if you edit a letter, it will edit the letter individually rather than all of them. So make sure that before you finish the merge, everything looks good before
check
you.
it and then
Yep,
you
I would
finish.
just always do preview and then make sure it's good. But yeah, you're right.
And you obviously want to have your name corrected and the thing at the bottom too. We'll go with that. But to your question about where you get this letter,
Right.
It'll be in the folder. I'm gonna send all you guys a link to this folder and share the whole folder with you. It has 2 videos and this letter in there. And like I said, you go and edit things because depending on where you pull your thing, depending on where you pull your information from, the fields might be named differently. And that's why this part, you have to go through and manually tell it what fields to pull this from. And again, you do that from insert merge field and create whatever one you want that to be.
Is this in the video?
Mhm.
Because it's really hard to picture how to do this without having my letter up and like actually doing it, and I don't have my letter yet, so I have my spreadsheet, but I can't do what you're doing.
And I am 100% with you, and that is actually why we made the videos before we did the class. Because at the end, I want you to be able to sit there, one of them open, pause the video, do the thing, start the video, pause the video, do the thing sideways at the same time. But at any rate, to Tony's point, preview the results, it gives you what that looks like, and that's owner 1 and owner 2. And there's a reasonable question. Why does Austin have a slash? Whoever entered this information back in 1968 into the main database put Austin slash. Why? I don't know. He was drunk. He had too much to drink that day. I'll explain that on that. To Tiny's point, you can go back and edit each of these once the list is generated. If you want to look at every one of these and go back, my guess is Austin gets letters all the time with a slash at the end because you're not the only person pulling from this. It's not only exclusive, where this information pulls does not only come from there. And there's probably, he goes, wonder what mailing list I'm on that knows Austin slash, right? I mean, where does the Austin slash generate from? Because I've gotten that kind of letter in the past, and that's kind of what happens. So finish and merge, and then from there, basically you're at print document.
Yep, after you click, well, first you have to click.
Yeah.
Okay.
So print records, we want to do all, and we don't want them printed here.
If you do click finish merge and then you click edit individual documents, then it will give you the whole file.
So if you go here, print,
Yeah.
finish, and merge, and edit individual documents, and go all.
Yeah.
Record 380 was empty. Again, that's somewhere in there. I'm not worried about 380. He's just not getting the mail today.
And then if you scroll, all of your letters will be there. And then you just print.
So then, like in this one, as you're going back through it, Mary Wicks, I do not want that ampersand there. Oh, look, Mary got a slash too. Looks like that problem, maybe I put a slash in there because everybody got a slash. But that's all of your letters. And again, to that point about the differences between Sheets and Excel/Word, what Sheets is going to do is it's going to complete this process, but it's going to give you 379 letters, individual spaces, and you then have to print them out in groups of 15 because that's as much as you can shift click and it will accept to allow you to right click and send to printer. And that goes over that in that video, the one from Dana. If you do this in Excel and Word, you can just go up to the top and hit print, and they all print. So it's up to you which one you want to do. One is free, one is not free. One is easier, but it's easier because they know where they can make money. You know, the average kid off the street who's using Sheets for college doesn't care how much it costs. He's not doing this.
I think Microsoft Office is only like $10 or $15 a month.
I like to call it free 99, but yeah. I mean, for the utility you get out of it, it's free 99, but absolutely. Now, y'all know I love command. Y'all know that's like my thing, right? So anyway, you get these. Let me tell you another secret, little secret that comes with these. Depending on where you're at in your real estate career, it might be wiser to pay the kid down the street $15 an hour to stuff these in envelopes, handwrite the address, put a stamp on it. Might be wiser than you doing it, depending on where you're at in your real estate career. If you're new, and you don't have a lot of leads, and you have a lot of time, time is your friend, get the stamp in, my friend. But if on the other side, you've got other connections to make and other things to do, for the love of man, pay someone else to do it. Know how much you're worth an hour and make your decision based on that. Know that the investment of your time, you only have so much time in a day. And if you take one of the best pieces of advice that Jason Hoerkamp has ever said in my presence is, I know how much I'm worth. And I make sure that if it's something that's going to cost me less to do than I am worth, I pay for someone else to do. It's just that simple, isn't it? It's just an investment.
Another thing too is, if you don't, like a big part of it is like folding them. Like you don't realize how long it takes to go through and tri-fold every single one until you actually like mail some shit out and you have to fold them all, and then you're like, damn. Dave Stark has a folding machine in his office. So he'll let you use it if you ask him nice. And it folds like 700 pieces of paper an hour. So if you have 100, you go in there, he sets it on the thing, and it folds them all, and he'll just give it back to you. So, yeah. And I think he's here right now. I saw him peek in the little window and walk away. So you can go ask
See
him.
the guy with the glasses?
Yes. And his office is like over around this corner, down this hallway over here.
Which if you're in Zoom, you can't see, but if you come into the office and say, I want to see if Dave Stark is here, I'm sure someone at the front desk or anyone passing by can help you out and find that. Because that Aylmer, if you do not, you've never folded letters, she is absolutely right. It is a pain. It is the kind of thing that I did when I was 12 for my neighbor who did mailings. And it was a great source of baseball cards for people like me. If you're on Zoom right now, are you seeing the screen that says Google?
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes, sorry.
So I want to go into a quick part of this that you can then convert into command if you so chose. And this goes to Sherry's question about how do I make this work for me long-term as well? In your contacts, you can download, or you can upload, I should say, CSV files. And that process starts under import. You do have to download the pre-made CSV to make this work. So we're going to go ahead and download that. And I'm going to go ahead and open it up. And this is what that download looks like. It's just a huge file. And there are, I want to say, about 120 some columns. When you open this file, do yourself the most important favor you can, and understand that you cannot delete a column. If you delete a column, everything else after this doesn't work. Because this is a CSV file, and it expects certain things to be in certain places. And if you delete a column, then it is not where it thinks it's supposed to be, and it goes, this is a number, and it's supposed to be letters. Your stuff is bunk, I refuse to work. So, don't delete any columns. If you can then find your old late bill set here, we have, this is the original document that we downloaded, and owner number 1 is Austin Nelson. If we want to, we can take Austin and copy this entire column here, and I'm just going to go to here for simplicity, but if you drag the entire column, you can right-click this column, copy, flip over to our other one, paste, they're all there. And then I go back, get their last name. Copy. Last name. I do the same thing with their address, state, all the way across. And import that directly into my file on command. And that will put all these people as contacts in the command. What you're not gonna have is their phone number. You're not gonna have their email address, unless you pulled that from Remind, and you can copy it. If you have, you can copy those columns as well. Now, the phone numbers and the email addresses you pull from Remind are not as reliable as the names and the addresses. So understand that's part of the thing. There is one more step to this process that I might recommend, and that is way over here in column BS, and I mean that most affectionately. It is literally called column BS. You can put a tag in there if you've already created it in command. So in the case of this one, where I thought this is going to be my farm, I'm going to use these people regularly, these are the people who live around me. If I create a tag in command called farm, I can then write farm, I can type farm in here, copy it to the entire column, and then all of these people will be imported into command with the farm tag. And that way, anytime I want to look at this group or send a mailer to this group or have anything to do with this group in the future, I just do a filter for farm tag and they all come up. And it's super magic. And so to your question, Sherry, how do I work this group on a regular basis? I now have a way to work them specifically and uniquely and distinctly from every other contact I have. That would be something that I would strongly recommend, because a golden letter is just a question at a point in time. Do you want to sell this house right now? No, I do not. Garbage. 6 months from now, do I want to sell this house right now? Maybe. Things have changed. And I would do it, if I was going to do this in a farm thing, and I was going to keep these people somewhat separately or somewhat unique in this way, I might do it twice a year. And I might do it coming into the spring season, right? Why do people sell their homes in the spring? Because everybody does. And there's reasons people choose, like when the school year ends, I know I want to sell my house. So I got to get in front of them before that. And at the end of the season, I might send it out again to this unique group of people that I'm regularly sending this particular thing to. Now, if it's your local neighborhood farm and to Anna's point, just write out. To Anna's point, if you're going to do something additional like sensations, then maybe you can still use that same thing. You can pull up this farm group as a file. You can send that to sensations. You've already got this file and all their addresses, and they can use it that way too. So
When I did sensations, like I made a point of going through my whole list and like trying to call the people. So I didn't send sensations to anybody if I didn't have a valid phone number for them. Because I knew I was gonna call them later, and if I couldn't call them, I didn't think it was worth sending them something in the mail every single month. So that would maybe be something I would suggest. If you're gonna pay money to do some automated stuff, maybe make sure you have a phone number so you can call them.
So the long and short of the process is creating a letter, deciding who you want to send it to, creating the list of people, and then using a mail merge to finish that process out. If you didn't leave this moment yet going, wow, Word in Excel did seem really simple, you'll watch the videos and then you go, wow, Word in Excel is really simple and that's the way I want to do it. And it is free $99. You have to call them and get it. But tell them I said you can get the free $99 promo and maybe they'll give it to you. I don't know. But I would strongly recommend that using mail, Word and Excel combo rather than sheets. It can be done, it's just harder. So what questions do we have, Tati?
I think you did a great job. I don't know.
I just stole from you, that's all I did. Lots of marketing money. Anna,
I don't have any questions.
right now. The other thing I do want to say as we go through these questions, if you don't have my calendar link, I will make sure to send, that will be an email I send you that has the folder with the letter and the 2 videos. That will also be there. So if you have questions about it, just make an appointment. We'll get it done. We'll figure it out together. I love making appointments. I love helping you out. And if I can do it hands-on, I'm 10 times happier. But in this case, like I know Aubrey, you're kind of far out there. I don't, Zoom is very easy to do these kinds of things and talk through. Jenny, any questions?
No, that was really helpful.
Jerry?
Not yet?
Lori, any questions out there?
No, thank you.
You bet. How about you, Aubrey?
Nope, I don't think so. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You bet. Thank you both. Thank you everybody for coming and have a great time. Use the gold letter as a tool. It's not a magic bullet.
Thank you.
Where is Audrey? I see her on Zoom.
Saint Peter.
Is the new office down there?
No.
Cool.
Should make a landing page and make people sign in. Nobody need that?
You could do a QR code.
I think that was a thing for just a second TV or something, wasn't it?
It was a thing and I never did it.
What's a sign in a team meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was like, there used to be a QR code in the training room and anytime you came in for a training, you were supposed to scan the QR code and sign in. And I
Looks
just.
like astonishingly like this, by
Oh, there it
Yeah.
is. Yep. I never did it one time though. I came to a lot of stuff, but I don't know. I don't like technology. I think I'm
She
reincarnated.
said to the tech guy.
I'm
the way.
reincarnated,
You
but
know, people don't.
I'm an old woman in a young woman's body.
Thank you, Jason.
You bet. Thank you guys.
Thank you.